Hey everyone, this is Dalton at Daltonians TFs, and welcome to another Titans Return review. As you can see by the title, this is going to be over the Titans Return Leader Class Blaster with Twincast. So yeah, image here of Twincast either detaching or attaching. It looks like with the thrusters, he's either... It's hard to tell with the way the thrusters are designed, but with the eyes coming on, it looks like they are attaching, and these are just to keep him stabilized as he's attaching to blasters. On the back, you get your typical instructions, and it basically goes on about how, you know, Twincast is a walking cipher. He's a, you know, for cryptography and everything, but it doesn't really, you know, say much what he does for, you know, blaster, other than, you know, decoding encrypted messages. So that is that. Getting into the meat of the review, here is Blaster himself, and very nice updated kind of boombox that we've got going on here. You've got the big speakers, very, you know, well molded, very well textured. He's got this metallic fleck going on with this kind of grayish silver plastic. Don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but there's that. He is very much meant to homage the original G1 toy. The Takara one, on the other hand, looks a bit more cartoony, although there's one part of this figure that's not cartoony that we will get into, you know, later on in the video, other than, you know, the obvious third mode, but part of the robot mode that, like I said, we'll get to shortly. As far as other details, you get your typical, you know, blaster chest box piece. Now, everyone's complaining about how he doesn't have the buttons. He does, and they are right here. These are the original buttons. They're molded in. They have no function other than to look like they're there. And for some reason, he's got this little hole right here in the middle of, you know, the boombox. He's got these little panels here that look like they could be buttons, but that is meant more for sound wave, which they did think about when they molded this guy. They, you know, threw in elements of both characters in here. Nice and molded right here. You got a little arrow. Actually, no, yeah, a little arrow right here. And then these two, this is just meant to look like this button right here. Now on the back, on the other hand, we get a lot of nice little details. One of them, actually a few of them. Right, so we've got what looks like a SD card slot here. We've got a headphone jack right there. We've got another one of those SD card slots there. A power, you know, power cord port, power button, and just for more added detail, we've got a USB slot right here. Although you can't really get, you know, put it in there due to the joint that's there. We have one here. And you've got three molded into the back, so you have that going on. And I haven't seen very many people touch up on all these USB slots. You know, I've heard one mention, like, you know, someone mentioned the one here, and, you know, the headphone jack, but that's really all that they've mentioned that I know of. But very, very nicely thought out and, you know, planned for little Easter eggs in the boombox mode. And he does have the feature of opening up his compartment, and you can store this in there. This is just stock with him. It does look like one of the little tablets. You got your little play button there. It's more like just a little MP3 player, nothing more. I can't even find a headphone jack on this one. Now, for other cassettes that you can give to Blaster, I've only got 3, so let's go ahead and get into this. Sorry, knocking the camera around. We've got rewind here. Slides right in, perfectly fine, no issue. So it closes up. It is best though to put him in like that. That's the most seamless way of getting him in there. Then you've got, you know, buzzsaw here. Obviously meant more for sound wave as far as character choice. And the, you know, most disliked one so far, stripes. So there is that nice little play feature for the toy itself, much like the original figure had, except, you know, it used cassettes instead of, you know, little tablets. or phones, or whatever the hell you want to call them. He does have some other details that aren't painted, such as these little add-ons to the speakers right up here. It does hold very nicely, and I think Fort Max can actually hold him. So there is that. You can actually put him up on Fort Max's shoulder. I'll probably show that in my review of Fort Max. So get this guy into his base mode. It is fairly simple. You just want to bring these sections down. Be careful of this little tab right here. Fold out the ramps. Untab the arms. Rotate this forward, back, up. You want to bring this just to where these foot pegs are level, so where they're perfectly straight up. And from here you just want to bring this little turret forward. Do the same here on the other side. Bring it down. Flip out the little cannons. From here you want to bring out these little sections all the way out to here and bring up these little, I guess, radar dishes, or in the case that he very much looks like a kind of like a, I don't know what to describe this base mode as. I just know it's very strange, and you know, Blaster was, you know, never had a base mode. I don't know what all this stuff is. So there you have the base mode. You can also take this, plug it up on here, and before we get into the rest of this base mode, let's take a quick look here at Twincast. Very simple little version of Blaster. Now the Takara version does have him painted in his, you know, Twincast colors, but if you go by the mythos of the usual headmasters, this would be Blaster or Broadcast. So it makes it a little weird having Broadcast Blaster in the Twincast colors for the Japanese release when they could have done it over here in the two different colors. But that's just me. Very kind of cartoon accurate looking face there with the, you know, just the silver dome. I wish they would have done this on the actual robot mode, but we'll get into that later. Gonna plug him in up here on the little like command center or whatever you want to call this. Take the gun here, and you know, actually want to open this up, fold this section back, bring the screen forward and collapse that back down. You plug the gun in right there. Too far zoomed in. So there is that. Let's go ahead and brighten this up a little bit so you can see it better. So there we go. Him in his base mode. You can actually bring in your little Titan Master vehicles and have them all over the place, and actually take the little Titan Masters themselves. You can have Loudmouth or Siren up here. For some reason, he's not wanting to stand on the pegs. There we go. So, and there you have that, or you can, you know, have him standing right here in front of his little vehicle. And these can connect to Fort Max. Again, we'll show that off in Fort Max's video, because there's just not enough time to get it all on this one. So, going to robot mode from here, you want to go ahead and fold those up. Fold these ramps back up onto there. You want to actually, let's go ahead and leave these unfolded. It makes it a little bit easier to undo those hinges. So just go ahead and fold that back up. Let's do the same on this side. And fold that up. Straighten everything out here. Want to collapse that. It's on a little double joint there, so go ahead and fold that up around here. Come on. What is going on here? There we go. You want to just slide these into those channels right there. and flip out the feet, which, there we go. Do the same on this side, holding everything up, and come on, there we go. Watch that. And here we want to raise up our camera. Move the gun from there, go ahead and collapse this all back the way it should be. Take the arms down and around, take this stupid thing off, flip back the handle, bring out his fists, and from here we just want to take our Titan Master and plug him back up here. Open up the cavity on his back, bring it up and out, and just bring it up onto his head. And there we have Blaster. Get this on him. Come on. In robot mode. And he looks good. I mean, he looks really good. We can just get him to stand here. Go and flip these out for like heel spurs. I mean, I am very impressed with this. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, though I do like him a little bit more than, you know, what Power Muscle Prime. I don't have him yet. I am getting the Takara version. That should be coming out here fairly soon, actually. I mean, it is near the end of November right now, so very good looking robot mode. He's got a lot of nice details. I mean, he is, as far as like, you know, what he needs to have. So he's got these nice molded details here, painted blue, yellow, and the silver. Got the little decals here on his shins, along with the fake G1 speakers, and these little things to reference the stickers. As far as articulation, it is fairly good. Head is on just a basic swivel. Shoulders, ratchet, just a soft detent on the shoulders. In and out on a tighter, heavier ratchet. What is that? Right. And rotates at the bicep. And another ratchet at the elbow, giving you just about 90 degrees. Nothing at the wrist except for the typical in and out. This stuff. Nothing at the waist due to this transformation and the, you know, cassette gimmick, or the tablet gimmick, whatever you want to call it. In and out here at the hips, going all the way out. Coming most of the way forward, kind of looks a little weird like that. Rotates back about that far. You got your basic thigh swivel. Bends 90 degrees, a little under 90 degrees at the knee. And he's got ankle pivot and tilt, or tilt and pivot, whichever way you want to describe it. So he is fairly well articulated for his size, and you know, the fact that he's pretty much just a brick. Now, what I was talking about with the head on this guy, let's go ahead and bring this camera down a little bit. His head is much more either toy or cartoon, whereas, you know, I honestly prefer the toy look, or the cartoon look, where, you know, he doesn't have the visor and his face is all kind of that gray color. So I might shave off that visor and paint his whole face silver. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or just keep it the way it is. If I do, I might get a second one just as a safety thing. But yeah, I am very impressed with it. You can store his rifle, which, by the way, looks really good. Very much like his original, except, you know, it doesn't have a gaping hole right here. It just has some detail thrown in there. And it is hollow on both sides, so no matter which way, you know, it's hollowed and detailed out. Very nice scope on it. You got your stock back here. I guess this right here would be the trigger. So, Very nicely molded. Can store it back here, and this one is obviously meant for Soundwave shoulder gun, which goes up here. Which there is, so that means there is a purpose for this. Just not with blaster. And one thing before we end the video there, here is his card. Same artwork as the box. And he's not very fast. I mean, he's a boombox after all. He has to have other people take him. Very strong, up to a 12. Intelligence up to a 12, you know, with Twincast, which he's always with Twincast. 10 for firepower, which is amazing because in robot mode he's just got the gun. In base mode he's just got these extra little guns here. The 3 barrels there. So, fairly powerful for, you know, just being a boombox, you know, except for speed. Now, before I completely forget altogether, let's go ahead and do a couple of size comparisons here. We've got the Voyager class Sentinel Prime, which I have customized a little bit. We'll get more into that in a separate video. And here he is with Chrome Dome and Wheelie. So you can see he is a pretty big guy. Let's also go ahead and bring in Jetfire, so you can see he is actually taller at the head than Jetfire. So there is that. So, like I said, very impressed with this guy. There are a few issues, yes, there is no denying that. But they aren't glaring, they aren't, you know, too bad. Just limitations due to the design and the transformation. Other than that, really great figure. I can't say it enough, but I'm probably saying it too many times as it is anyways. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll have a big playlist of all my Titans Return reviews down in the description, along with all my other links, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you want to check those out. This has been Dalton at Daltonians TFs, and I'll see you guys all next time.